My name is Paula Frappier. I'm an occupational therapist by trade. I work for the Homewood Health Center, which is a large mental health facility in Guelph. My current role is to do education, supportive education with teams in the community. And the teams span long-term care, retirement home, community companies, and the community nursing companies. So, I do spend some time, supporting people in community living facilities around here. So some of you online are my friends. Also, Lighthouse deserves a great shout out. They see me monthly. And KW Habilitation has also used services that my program can provide. Sometimes when I'm asked to talk in long-term care, it's to support somebody with a developmental disability, as was the little story that I shared. And anyway, through the course of my education and my trying to keep ahead, providing the best information I can to all of the people that I support, most recently, through the support of Darren Renee, I was able to become an NTG affiliate or affiliated provincial trainer with the Canadian Consortium of the NTG. So NTG, oh, I see somebody in the chat. Just a second here. The chat is also changed a little bit for my purposes here. Oh. Okay, and I will answer the chat at the end of my talk a little bit more thoroughly. Oh, it's the people from Lighthouse. They say that they love me. That's nice. Thank you. There's some emotional support as I do my presentation. That's absolutely lovely. All right, so through the NTG, which actually stands for National Task Group, and I always think, there's so much fabulous information on the Canadian website that anyone can avail of. You yourself, the people that you support, the families that you support, anybody can go there and gain all kinds of great, fabulous resources. But I'm not certain we would Google it that way, right? So just so you know, I will again be one of the people giving Tara the links that I will talk about today so that you can get the right information from the right connections. All right. The people at NTG, and namely these people, created what's called a Canadian Guide for Community Care, supports for adults with intellectual disabilities affected by dementia. A long title. I like this product because it really helps you source what do I need when. So the people that created it were Dr. Nancy Jokinen, an NTG Canadian Consortium, Leslie Odell of the NTG Canadian Consortium, Sandy Stemp of RENA NTG Canadian Consortium, and Tracy Berman of RENA and a project coordinator. So RENA is partnered with NTG in order to produce this content. The way the guide works, and I will tell you, you can actually go to the website and get a copy of the guide, okay? You can print it, you can order it. They are very, very long, just to let you know, 30, 40 pages. And it's very, very wordy as you're going through it. What I've done is taken a snapshot right here of the PowerPoint that they've allowed us to use in order to kind of advertise that this product exists. And I've given you a snapshot of the content that you can avail of. Okay, so it gives you a taste of it. I'd really, really like it if you could go and visit the website yourself, download it, and then only use the sections that you need as you go along. It's kind of overwhelming if you sit down and do a total read of the whole entire thing. I think it's far too much for anybody to take in, but families and workers alike, use the parts that you need as you go. So the background is that it's an NTG initiative with underlying principles of dementia and how that might affect people with IDD. Then they have a staging model that they apply. So, the stages are like pre-diagnosis, early stage, mid stage, late stage. I'm certain that you've heard dementia described in the staging model. That's how the book's actually laid out. So this manual actually works stage by stage, giving you an idea of what symptoms you might expect, what you might be seeing, and what resources you might want to connect with at the time. And I really like that because I think this is where this presentation pairs nicely with what Teresa just told you, because when this manual, it was created in Winnipeg, that's where the NTG kind of hub is. They have made it so that anybody across Canada can use it. But when you want to know specifically where do you go for specific regional resources, you want the information that Teresa just presented to you. Okay. I'll show you how the staging model works. I've got a slide for that. Early detection and screening. Of course, they want you to use the NTG, early screening and detection of dementia. It has been mentioned throughout today. If you don't know or haven't used it, it is a good observation, right? An observational guide. It asks you questions like, how is somebody functioning in their day-to-day productivity and their day-to-day work? You can write down, they were independent to brush their teeth, they were independent to get dressed, and then the next year, when you revisit it, you can look as a team and say, oh, you know what, today or now, instead of being completely independent, I have to give more cueing. This person needs more support to get those activities of daily living done. And over the course of time, we can track those changes so that when you go to the physician and say, I really think we have to, do better exploration. Is this person's change dementia? It's not open-ended. You can say these are specific examples as to how this person is changing, how we think their brain is changing. These are specific examples of what they're struggling with now that they weren't struggling with prior, and how quickly those changes have occurred. So it's a good record keeping. Program supports and options then. So again, critical concerns in specific situations. They also review environmental modifications as you go along and home safety and non-pharmacological approaches. So how to connect with people, how to provide those meaningful interactions, meaningful activities so that people have productivity, purpose, and pride throughout the end of their days. Last then is a chapter on emerging issues. So an overview of brain health, supporting brain health, cross-sector collaboration, grief and loss, and Indigenous peoples. All of this is contained in the book. So how do I use the guide and how to create your roadmap? First and foremost is understanding the impact and progression of dementia on the particular people that we're supporting. So the guide can be used as a whole or stage by stage, and I highly, highly recommend just do the stage by stage. It's easier to follow. There's key information for families all the way along. There's key information for people themselves with the IDD, disability organization or organizations, funders, health and senior services organizations. So what they've tried to do is pull the content so it's kind of a one-stop shop. So anybody who is supporting somebody living with IDD, if they're living with IDD and dementia themselves, or their family and friends that they're living with, can access information that they need anywhere along the journey. It provides a structure for planning of relationship-focused and person-centered supports. And again, this is absolutely paramount, I think, in all of the care that we do, that we remain person-focused, that we all are creating kind of a web of care around the individual. It should be individually guided, right? With the person having as much input into their care, their objectives for their care, and end-of-life planning as possible. So I like that the guide keeps the person in the forefront, right? So sharing information with adults with intellectual disabilities. So the guide can be used by all audiences, as I said, to share information about dementia with people with intellectual disabilities, some specific resources for use. When you want it to be regionally specific, again, you're going to go back to the presentation that Teresa did and think, okay, how can we connect with this with the content that we need. Where do we get it in our region? And it provides many, many ideas for planning for the future. Okay. So again, this is kind of a nice visual model of exactly what I just said. So the adult with IDD is at the center of all of these interventions, is at the center of the care, is at the center of the guiding and the planning. Okay. Okay. Oh, advocacy. Right. I need to touch on this as well. Actually, where our talks blend together again, in the All's Educate learning that Robin had talked about, there's an advocacy model there. And perhaps, Robin, you might want to chime in and just say it teaches people how to advocate, what's an appropriate way to advocate for services and supports that are needed. Go ahead, Robin. Could you?
Yeah, sure. It's called Advocacy College because
Good.
it's a course with several parts to it. It's I took this course and I was delighted with it because it gave me the pathways, the how to, the where to, the why we already know, and the people to connect to. And it literally talks you through how to advocate with different levels of government and different policymakers. And that's where, although we advocate personally on one-to-one basis, almost on a daily basis, this is something a little larger, and this is something that you could take on as a group, or you could take on as an individual. It won't cost you a penny. Just open the AllsEd account, take the advocacy course. If you don't do anything with it, you don't do anything with it, but you might understand how government works a little better
Okay,
in
I
an
love.
interesting way.
Yes, I didn't know it would get so political, but it is, right? This is the thing. And sometimes this is the work that we need to do to stand up for the rights and the access to the services that the people we support need. So the advocacy piece with this NTG tool is all about families, adults with IDD themselves, organizations, and this is where it gets more into the politics, and policymakers and research. So it's about advocating along or throughout that continuum. Thanks, Robin. Okay. The content and layout of the guide. So it kind of looks like this. It has the stages, pre-diagnosis, early, middle, late, just like I said, and then recommendations for actions, possible symptoms that that the person might be experiencing or that you are observing as supports, has a care focus and staff training, right, as well as resources and outcomes, so what people need when. Also has program options, so these are family home options, options that are available independently, or if the person is living with roommates, dementia capable homes or day services. So again, they've tried to cover the breadth of where the person who's needing support might be, what services or the situations that they might be in. And then again, emerging issues like we were mentioning before. So in a pre-diagnosis stage, there are possible early symptoms or sporadic warning signs, right? So memory loss or changes in gait are examples, right? Baseline and ongoing screening tools, and emphasis on using the NTG early detection and screening for dementia tool. That's this one. There's pre or videotaping how a person is functioning. So picking a couple of tasks and asking them to participate in it. And it could be easy tasks like walking or sorting something. Videotape it and then comparing that with a videotape taken of them doing the exact same tasks in a determinate amount of time, so 6 months or a year after, and just so that people can actually see and see the changes that have happened. One of the things that I feel happens these days is sometimes staff change, right? And the new staff coming in only know the person from the point they've joined them in their care as they progress through. So they might not have that same awareness that staff that have been with people have seen over the past 5 or 10 years, right? So, oh, you know, John was able to do X, Y, and Z before, and now he can't, but it doesn't look out of sorts to a new person coming in. John is as they're taking him right now. So it's nice to have that history. It's nice to have it on file for these purposes, right? How much change is John actually experiencing, and how is it actually impacting his functioning? How is it impacting how he engages in day-to-day activities? Um, Pre-stage also, it will go over the diagnostic process, what you can expect, right? And recommended actions then are on the yellow side there, and the guide provides all of this information. So what you might need for better training, what you might need for better information, diagnostic processes that are appropriate for somebody with IDD, and establish that baseline. Early stage then, again, you see it's the same kind of format. So examples of possible symptoms that you might see, what the care focus might be, right? So increased need for support and supervision, create nonverbal communication strategies, and it's just encouraging teams then to start to think about these things, right? So if language centers are affected, how is this going to be different? How are they communicating differently? If you have people that you support that don't have language, and some of you do, right? How is that showing up as something different for them? Are they able to use their alternate or supportive communication strategies in the same way? Is their body language changed? Is their frustration level changed? How are they getting their needs met? And is it different than it was before? So it allows you to kind of go through and pick out these changes as they're happening for somebody, right? And then again, recommended actions on the other side. It could be things like engaging in conversations about planning for future care needs. Could be things like establishing a daily routine, right? So the person knows what to expect and it kind of supports their changes, right? So a daily routine that is a specific routine that is predictable is very supportive to somebody with dementia. Might be very boring to us that the person's not going on as many spontaneous outings and whatnot, but overall it reduces anxiety and helps the person predict what might be coming next. In the middle stage, then, examples that you might encounter could be past memories may become perceived as reality. And with one of the homes I was supporting, it was interesting because this person was reliving a time that they were in an institutional care setting where, going to the meal services was not their favorite time of the day. Actually, it was rather traumatic for them. So when the workers would use terms like it's time to eat or come to the kitchen, that kind of thing, the person's anxiety would escalate. So changing and showing the person, here's food here, right? Might be some supports that are needed and necessary to change just because of that access to past memories being so eidetic, so reality based for them. Care focuses then in the middle stage, increased supervision. And again, the guide just helps you plan what that might start to look like, what we might start to have to shift to do. It's difficult. I think all of these transitions are difficult for workers who have supported people for a long period of time. We get very, very good at helping people be the best they can be. Enhancing skill, enhancing productivity, enhancing quality of life, right? And enhancing independence. And it is crushing to us when now we have to take some of that back, that now we're not going to be helping a person go to Tim Hortons like they did before. We actually have to help them maybe stay in the vehicle while we get their Tim Hortons treat for them and bring it out to them. So it's tricky. It's really tricky. And that's why I think that ambiguous loss piece plays such a big role in what we were talking about today. So it's not only understanding the disease process, it's really understanding our response to the disease process. And I think a guide like this helps us kind of predict what we might need, helps us anticipate a bit more so that we can better weather those changes that are going to happen. Okay. Oh, and I should say here, so uh, along with that, comfort care and preparing for death. So a lot of information about end of life details. And we do have Janet Elder and Teresa Donaldson here to talk about end of life care planning after this. So, program and support options. So the guide specifically addresses environments where adults with intellectual disabilities affected with dementia live or attend during the day. So again, they've really tried to make that broad so that the guide can be used for anyone at any stage or location. There are different tables. They provide guidance for families, provides organizations with the planning considerations. Um, yeah, that's okay. And then the last chapter of the manual is Emerging Issues in Brain Health, Cross-Sector Collaboration, which is what Teresa talked about, grief and loss in Indigenous populations. So I'm just going to stop sharing there. I'm just wondering if people have questions, and you can put them in the chat. I will try and get them, or just actually, if you could just ask them, that would probably be the easiest for me right now. And I want to share with you, so ask anything you want as I'm bringing this up. I wanted to share with you by actually taking you to the guide. So I want to go to the website and show you what that looks like. Any questions? Other than where do you get the guide?
Paula, again, this is the kind of thing that you might want to print one off and leave it in a convenient place within a group home so that everybody has a chance to look at it as they can fit it into their schedules.
Absolutely, 100%. I agree. Can you see this? The guide? Okay, good. Thumbs up I got. So that is excellent. Just going to try and make it more of a full screen kind of experience here. There we go. So this is on the RENA website. As you can see, it's 80 pages. And that's what I was saying. This is a very, very long document. It's long to print, but as Robin indicated, you know what? It's really good to have. So either print one and leave it in many locations, or just tell people about the website and you can kind of read as you go. I just want to get down. That's the table of contents. So all kinds of content, all kinds of case stories here too. Um, Sorry, I don't mean to make you dizzy. I just want to actually get down to kind of the meat and potatoes of it. Okay, so this is all the content that I just gave you. Community care guidelines and disease progression. As I said, it's very wordy. There's a lot of content on every page, but when we get to the tables, oh, and these are suggestions. Just wait, I should show you this. The tables are here, and then there's suggestions with personal comments in it. Okay, so the personal comments is the hardest part with him was knowing and recognizing that he was actually developing dementia. So again, this is an early stage piece. And these are some tips that you might want to use. So recommended actions, providing information to support individuals about the changes, establishing a baseline using the NTG-SDS, conduct screenings on the annual basis, right? Arranging medication reviews. Again, from Elaine's talk this morning, really want to know, are these changes because of dementia really, or could they possibly be the person's experiencing delirium, the person's experiencing a mental health issue like dementia or depression? Screening tools, if they indicate a change, making sure that you've got the appointments with the correct healthcare supports to follow up. Having somebody with familiar with the person actually do their history and attend the appointments with them, and advocate for trained professionals familiar with the appropriate assessments for somebody with IDD to be available for conducting further interventions. So it's useful, right? Like it kind of brings everything together. Okay. Don't worry, I'm not going to show you all 80 pages, but again, this is how it's set up. So you're looking at these might be the functional changes, right? These are the indications. And then on the third column are all of the actions that you might take. It's just suggestions. You might not need all of those actions, but at least it gives you a good starting spot. Okay, so my point today was to bring this to your attention, let you know that it's here, and I will share the link with you so that you can peruse it at your leisure. Okay, does anyone have questions for me?
Paula, I was just thinking when we share the link, I'll share the page from the Arena Dementia Strategy page because it includes this document, but it also has a lot of great videos that are divided by either for the person, as you said, the person, the family, or the support staff when supporting somebody with IDD and dementia. So yeah, the Arena, like this guide, along with so many of the tools and resources on the Arena Dementia Strategy page are
Yeah.
great for people to take a look at as well.
Absolutely. Do you want me to show the video about connecting with caring?
If you have time, because the video is great.
Okay, sure. This is what the website looks like. And this is what, these are the movies that Tara is talking about. I love this 4 ways to connect with kindness. I think I've showed it almost everywhere I go. Actually, I just have to stop sharing for 1 second then to make it so that the video is optimized. Optimized for video sharing. Here we go. Share. All right. So are we back? Are you guys, can you see the video? Whoop. Let's see. Show video panel. Okay, so I've got a thumbs up there from Teresa. Okay, so it says 4 ways to connect.
Four ways to connect with kindness.
Just wait, can you hear it? Yeah, I'm just going to try and make it full
Yes.
screen. Okay, it will not go fuller screen. Sorry about that. Okay, here's the video, guys. And think, as you're watching it, think of different ways that you could use this as a resource.
My name is Carrie. I live in an apartment with my best friend, Sophie. Sometimes I feel that Sophie does not want me around. Sometimes she gets upset fast. Sometimes she cries. Sophie had dementia. I've learned 4 tips about how to communicate with her. Let's go. Connect. I build a connection with Sophie, talking to her. I look into her eyes. I talk simply. I give her time to answer. It's hard because I have to be patient. I take a deep breath and give her time. Calm. Sometimes Sophie gets mad and tries to hit me. I used to get upset and leave. Now I know it's not her fault, it's the dementia. Now I might say, I see you are upset, and change the topic. I might say, would you like to come to a quieter space? Stay calm, never argue, give space. Change her attention to a calming activity that she likes. Kindness. When Sophie cried, it makes me sad too. I have to be gentle when she cries. I reassure her. I say things like, can I help you? Or can I put my hand on your shoulder? If she doesn't want that, I give her a tissue and keep her company. Hint. If she has trouble remembering things, I help her by making labels on cards. I put them around the apartment. Now Sophie isn't so frustrated when she forgets things. She feels good when she gets to help. Sophie and I are still best friends, even though she has dementia and finds it hard. I learned these 4 new ways to communicate: connect, calm, kindness, hints. Each person with dementia is different. By learning how to communicate, we find the right way for them.
I love that video. I'm going to stop share and bring everyone back together again. So just so you know, this afternoon again is about knowing what resources are available and helping you avail of the resources to connect with kindness. See what I did there? Yeah.